You're getting sound. Yeah, we got sound. All right, make sure everything good. Let me pull this. What's good, y'all? Sean P, the Bluff God. Hey! And we are back with One Piece chapter 1030. That's a long name. Let me look. I'll be forgetting the names of these chapters, especially these long ones. Echoing the impermanence of all things. I had to look because I forgot that word. I was thinking impertinence, but I was like, I don't think that's impertinence. But yeah. So before I get into that, make sure you if you're watching, show some love, man. Give your boy a like. If you haven't already, subscribed. I am doing a giveaway when I reach 50 subscribers. Once I reach 50 subscribers, I will be doing the giveaway. I got two of, you see the straw hat flag back there? I got two of those. I'll be giving away after reaching the 50 subscribers goal, right? So I'd seen a message on my screen. So all right, so we got Shane Burns in the house already, man. What's up, man? What's up, bro? I was going to have my brother join, but he is an anime only. He won't let it go either. I feel you, man. I feel you. Hey, tell your brother to subscribe, man. He can still, as long as he subscribed. Once I do my contest or whatever, maybe both of y'all could be the winners. I don't know. Let's definitely get him to subscribe though. I do One Piece content in general. It's not always just the manga specifically. I do reaction videos. Even though it's still tough because even a lot of the videos I do in my reactions still have spoilers as far as like anime. You know what I'm saying? So he'd have to be careful. He would definitely have to be careful with that. But yeah, like I said, make sure you like the stream as well, and follow me on Instagram, Twitter. If you are a One Piece fan, I have a Facebook group. I have a One Piece Facebook group and a One Piece Discord. All of these things will be in the link, or all of these links will be in the description. But y'all didn't come for all that. Y'all came for the chapter. So let's get into the chapter. Where is the chapter? Where is okay? All right. One Piece chapter 1030, echoing the impermanence of all things. So we get the cover page, which we see Brook. I guess he's just kind of like standing in the middle of like a area of trees, kind of like either a forest or like some woods or something, and we see these little ants. We see like a line of army ants, basically walking over his shoe, and he's just kind of, watching them as they walk over his shoe, kind of tipping his hat towards them. But yeah, but let's get into the actual factual chapter. All right, so we start this chapter off where we see X Drake basically confronting Apu, and Apu kind of he guesses like, I guess you're a Navy spy, which I don't know if Apu just kind of put that together, or if Queen and Who's Who told it, or if like maybe all the Beast Pirates kind of knew Drake was a traitor, or at least as far as the officers and the executives. I don't know. I don't know who all knew about X Drake being a traitor for the most part, and I don't even know if they know he was actually a Navy spy, or if I don't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. If Queen and Who's Who knew X Drake was a Navy spy, or if they just knew he was a traitor, because from what I remember, they just knew he was a traitor. I don't know if they knew he was a spy for the Navy, but Apu guessed it. So I don't know how deep the information goes as far as who knows about X Drake being a traitor, and him being a Navy spy of all things. So but yeah, Apu basically pretty much figured, guesses that he's a Navy spy, and he's basically like saying like, hey, why don't we collaborate and maybe wait till this battle finishes and pick whoever is left, because whoever's left is probably going to be on death's door, is what Apu basically mentions. Like whoever's left is going to be on death's door, and pretty much let's end them. Let's finish. Let's clean up the whoever's left over. And we see Apu basically chilling with three of the numbers. Enby, Fuga, and Zanki. They're all kind of surrounded by him. Or surrounded, they're surrounding Apu basically. And so Apu's basically just trying to get X Drake to join his cause, his betrayal, I guess. And so Drake basically say, why would I trust you, Apu, of all people? Why do you believe that I would trust you? And Apu kind of says, like, look, man, if anybody should be worried about betrayal, maybe it's me. Cause like, let's look at, out of us two, who's more trustworthy. Which Apu's still a pirate, so I don't think, just because X Drake was a spy, I don't think that automatically dictates Apu being the more trustworthy of the two. He's still a pirate, He betrayed he betrayed Kid and Hawkins, right? Or at least Kid, because Hawkins also betrayed the Alliance as well. So Hawkins and Apu pretty much betrayed Kid, even though Apu was already technically a agent of Kaido at the time, I think. But then you could still say, even though Drake is a spy, he was still an agent to the Navy, so he's still trustworthy. He's just trustworthy to the Navy, just like Apu was trustworthy to Kaido in that specific instance. But now Apu is planning on betraying Kaido, so I still think that doesn't really. What he says was kind of ironic to me, him trying to accuse Drake of being less trustworthy than him. You know what I'm saying? Like, because Apu betrayed Kid and Hawkins, and he's also trying to betray Kaido. Whereas Drake, he's betraying Kaido, but that was already kind of his job. He was already, pretty much a spy from the beginning. He was pretty much loyal to the world government. And so anyway, so we pretty much cut to the first and second stairway, where we have one of the smile users, the giraffe one, the one who got like the giraffe body, and his body is kind of attached to like the giraffe head, and he's carrying Camacho, and we see Speed, we see Usopp, Nami, and another were they headliners, I think, or another beast pirate that basically was influenced by Otama's devil fruit. And so they're basically running down the steps, and they see like a lower half of a body running across them, right? And it kind of shocks them. And it's clear who it is, so I'm not going to act all mysterious about who it could be, because even before they actually confirm who it is, you could just you could pretty much tell who it is. It's Kinemon's lower half, kind of like Punk Hazard, right? And he's basically asking them to like help him, right? And this part is kind of funny because everything he says, he's just the lower half. He's like, he keeps saying "poo" before everything. Like he says, "Whoever you are," kind of like he got his lower half, which has his buttocks. I want to say try to keep it YouTube friendly. His buttocks there, which you can imagine why he's using the suffix to his words as "poo," being the lower half, right? So he's basically like, "Hey, whoever you are, save me. Wait a second, what are you doing here? I know." Or no, this is Usopp talking to him. He said, "Wait a second, what are you doing here? I know it's you, Kinemon." And Kinemon said, "Pooh goes there. I'm Kinemon. I'm searching for my friends." Using the P for, But yeah, but the thing about it is, the thing about his lower half is he can't hear who's speaking to him, right? He can only communicate outwards. He can't hear. He can only talk. And I don't really understand how he's sending his voice to his body. I know he did it in Punk Hazard, so I guess it's already established. But I'm always curious about that. Like, what do you guys think? How can Kinemon basically talk through his ass? I guess I'll just say the word, talk through his ass. Yeah, so so Nami pretty much, it looked like Nami's tickling Kinemon, but I guess she kind of traces the crescent moon. She traces the moon on his hip, and that alone kind of gives Kinemon the confirmation that whoever he's talking to right there, whoever he's interacting with, whoever his lower half is interacting with, is an ally, not an enemy. Because that was kind of his main that was kind of his main concern, was whoever he ran into was a enemy and not an ally. But I think you should be able to tell, because if it was an enemy, they probably would attack you off rip, you know. And so I guess, Usopp basically hops on Hamlet, who's the giraffe, and he and he tells Nami and Speed to protect Otama, and him and Kinemon, who's also attached to what's the I just said his name, the giraffe smile user. I just said his name, Hamlet. He Kinemon is basically attached to Hamlet's side, like his left side thigh, and Usopp and Kinemon and Hamlet all basically, I guess they're going to go find where Kinemon is and go help him, go patch him up, him and Kiku. Because we find in the next page that Kiku seems to still be alive. Barely, but she still is alive. And Kinemon is still alive. And Kinemon explains how, he's separated from his lower half. That Law's ability, like when Law separated Kinemon in half, in his lower and upper half, Kinemon never really had his body attached properly. From like Law never attached Kinemon's body properly, So this whole time in the story, Kinemon has been basically acting. He's been active with his body not correctly attached. So as Kinemon kind of lays there, he kind of is like shocked, because I guess he's hearing like through a phone or something. I guess through like a Dendemushi. He's hearing a conversation, and it's like Orochi's voice, because he says that the voice of beheaded Orochi. But Kondro is dead already, But Orochi is calling Orochi is calling Kondro, and he's basically says, I'm gonna kind of read the conversation they had. He said, Kondro picks up and says, "Yes, Lord Orochi," and he said, "You sound like you're on death's door, Kondro. Indeed, the curtains are closing." And he said, "Well, and that's Kondro saying, indeed, the curtains closing." Then Orochi says, "Well, you've done admirably. It was a splendid act." Kondro, huff huff, "Your praise means everything to me, my lord." And then Orochi says, "Can you hear the audience, how they cheer for you?" Kondro like, "For me? For me? They're cheering for me?" Then Orochi said, "That's right, but alas, you're galling. You vex them, or how vex them. Our answers await properly. Theatrical encore, and you must give it to them, Kondro. Depict the burning hatred of the Kazumi clan." And we see Kondro grabs his paintbrush sword, and he said, "Who is the or no, I think this is Roach saying, who is the true victory, or the true victor? The enduring anger of the Korazumi prowls the halls of this castle, heading deeper and deeper into the depths, until at the very bottom of it all, you reach our burial crypt." And then he said, "Only you can lay our souls to rest, Kondro." So Orochi's pretty much giving Kondro, a little pep talk. He's speaking Kondro's language. It's kind of like a manipulation thing. Like he understands Kondro is an actor. He loves that whole vibe of performing and everything. So he's basically like, "Look, the audience is, like, you've done well, and your audience is is amazed by your performance. So give them an encore. Give them an encore and show them that burning hatred of the Kurazumi clan, you know. So, you know, he's basically giving Kondro that pep talk, right? And so, and you know, we see Kondro say, "As you wish, I shall perform my final dance, the glorious death of the Kazumi clan." And I kind of, something in my mind said that Kondro wasn't fully dead. You know, I wasn't sure if Kinemon and Okiku was fully dead as well, you know. So Kondro kind of summons this being, this spirit, right? Kind of look like him when they show him in the when they depict Kondro as a kid, and you just kind of see like a blob, you know, like a little blob character, kind of like in the anime. I think they did that in the manga as well. But you see this little blob character depicting Kondro, and it's like that character but much bigger, right? And I don't know if this is like just kind of like energy that's kind of radiating from Kondro, or if this is actually like he actually manifested this thing, you know. I mean, it is a manifestation to a degree. So, you know, but I don't know if it's more like a kind of like what was the Smiley? I think it was Smiley from Punk Hazard, the big old poisonous blob. I don't know if it's kind of like that, or if it's more like maybe a Susanoo, kind of like how it encases Kondro's body, or if it's just like a transformation, Kondro transforming into this big blob that's kind of like Smiley from Punk Hazard, you know. Because the first panel when we see it come to be, it's like surrounding Kondro, but the next, like right under it, you don't really see Kondro no more. You know, you see like some beast pirates that's kind of like, I guess they got in contact with it and they start burning it up because they said, "Hey, don't touch it or you'll catch on fire." What is that monster? And we come to find out that the monster name is Kazenbo. Kazenbo. Remember that. Remember his name. So yeah, so we kind of get like little panels of what's going on around Onigashima Island. You know, we get, you know, they're basically relaying the message that this big old monster is running amok on Onigashima. We see what's his name? I'm forgetting name. Momonosuke. We see Momonosuke trying to create these clouds and put it around, put it, you know, trying to save Onigashima pretty much. We get like a little snippet of what's going on at the Fire Fest. People just having fun, not realizing what's really going on. You know, that the castle of Onigashima is set on flames and it's headed in their direction. Like, we don't see that. And we see Brooke, Robin in the middle of the action. CP0 seems to be walking. It's kind of look like CP0 is about to act on something. Let me see what Shane said. I noticed he said, "I hate Orochi." I mean, yeah. I mean, if you hate Orochi, that means that Oda does a good job in his storytelling, because we are supposed to hate Orochi. I hate Orochi as well, but that's kind of why I like his character, because I hate him. It's kind of like you got these characters where you hate them, you love them because you hate them. It's like you love to hate them. You know what I'm saying? And that's Orochi pretty much. And you said, "I'm pretty sure it's based off Smiley," which is a great catch. Yeah. It reminds me a lot of Smiley, just the blobbiness of it, you know, because Smiley was a blob, you know what I'm saying, and he was a big blob, and this looks like a big blob, you know. We see Marco, we see Izo in action, Kawamatsu, you know, so Kawamatsu and Izu are clearly still alive and kicking. Okiku, uh, Okiku and Kinemon, they're still, they're still alive barely. You know, I think Inu and Neku, they're both alive. They just got finished with their fights. I remind me. I'm trying to think of Ashura Doji and Denjiro. I think they're still alive. I can't remember what happened last time we seen them. Or Ashura may not be alive, but I think Denjiro is still. I think he's still alive. I think. I mean, they haven't shown him, so I don't know. I forgot what happened with Denjiro last time we seen him. Shane says, "You right? Oda did his thing on Orochi, same as Doflamingo. Yeah, of course, man. You gotta like the thing with storytelling is, you gotta have a character you hate. The more if the creator can make you hate a character, that's good because at the end of the day, you want to see the fact that you're going to continue to follow because you want to see that character get his just due at the end of the day. Like if you like a bad guy, you don't want to see him get defeated. Like Bleach, for example. I love Bleach. Aizen, Aizen's like one of my favorite characters on Bleach. I don't want to see him get defeated. And he was defeated, but he didn't die. He didn't die. He's still pretty much alive. But Shane said, I think all 9 are alive. Huh. Probably. At least as of now, at least. I would kind of be shocked if none of them die. I would kind of be shocked if none of them die. If all of them live, I would be shocked. I think, because, I don't know. Aizen was a dope fight, yes sir. Yeah, Aizen's one of my favorite anime characters overall. But yeah, so yeah, on Bleach. But all right, so getting back to this, we see Sanji fighting Queen, and we kind of get like I kind of get like I think it's a narration from, I don't know if it's, I want to say it's Kinemon talking. He's basically saying, allies of Kazuki, emperors of the sea, all who put on airs will be brought low. So I'm not sure who's I think it's Orochi. It might be Orochi. And he said, "Don't think I don't know, Kaido. You like." Orochi points out about this weapons armory that Kaido has with all the explosives, and his plan is pretty much for Kondro to go to the army and destroy Onigashima, kill everybody. And then he calls Fukuro Koju, and he's like, "Hey, bro, let's escape." So Orochi not really worried about Kondro. He just, of course, he's just using Kondro to fulfill what he wants done. Like that whole speech he gave Kondro, just again, like I said, it's manipulation. Because he damn sure wasn't worried about what happened to Kondro. So we cut to Yamato, who's basically running towards the armory. And Yamato's pretty much running towards the armory to basically help save Onigashima, because Onigashima's on fire, and you got Kondro going towards the armory as well. So, and not only that, even if none of them lights the armory, once the island touches down, it could still cause an explosion. Which, what was I going to say? So seeing how we got Yamato running towards the armory, and we got Kondro running towards or headed towards the armory. It's looking like we could get a confrontation between Yamato and Kazunbo, who I think is still Kondro. So I don't know if Kazunbo and Kondro are attached, or if Kazunbo is kind of acts independently. I'm not too sure. Like maybe still controlled, but like kind of like remotely. I don't know. Or if Kazunbo is just like Kondro with like kind of like in the Susanoo almost. And Shane says, I'd be annoyed if none died. I'm putting a chapter on my other phone to follow this. How do you think the armory scene will go, being that Yamato going to it? Bro, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a tough question. I could see it being a fight between like Yamato trying to stop Kazunbo from Kazunbo slash Kondro. I could see it, being something like that. You know what I mean? Like Yamato trying to stop them, like it being a fight. I personally just would hate to see Kondro put down by anybody other than one of the Akazawa samurai. Like permanently put down. That's why I kind of thought like how the fight between when Kondro pretty much finished off Kondro, or when not Kondro finished off when Kinemon finished off Kondro before Kaido showed up. I thought that would have been the perfect way to end their little end that story between them two. But seeing how Kondro is alive, I don't know how he should be put down. I'm kind of thinking this form that he's taking on, like this Kazunbo that he's taking on. I think it's kind of like a last resort tactic. It's like he's probably putting all the rest of his life energy he got into it in order to to finish all the enemies. Kind of like when people put on a bomb, it's like he was already dying, so it's like, hey, he was already dying, so he pretty much, this is pretty much his final stand before he dies. So yeah, so we cut to, I want to say, the performance floor. I think they don't exactly say where they are, but we see Kid basically getting thrown out the building, out like the castle, and with the Ikaku sovereignty, which of course is one of Big Mom's moves. And cutting to the next page, we see Big Mom, and Big Mom looks like she's about to try and finish off Kid, with Napoleon. And we kind of see kind of a small flashback of like Kid and Law having a conversation, I guess, before this moment, where Kid is basically saying, hey Law, have you awakened your powers? Now, I don't have your powers awakened. I don't, that question, like, is he talking about like, has Law got an awakening form, or is it more along the line like, hey, we've been fighting, or have you saved up enough energy to use your ability? I'm kind of thinking this the later, like it's like, hey, are you good enough to use your ability? I'm thinking that's kind of what the translation means, but I think that can also be interpreted as him asking him asking Law is his devil fruit abilities awakened. But I don't know. And then he said, I'm still not used to it. I'll do it if I'm on my last legs. but the stamina consumption is extreme, and it ensures I'll lose the battle. This could. Okay, you know what I think? You know what I think? When he said, I don't think it's necessarily a devil fruit awakening. I think it might just be like and just this specific ability might take a bit of time to like muster up the energy for it. I think that's kind of what it is. Like it's just a ability that takes so much stamina. Where Law kind of needs a little time to prepare for it. So I think that's what Kid could mean. So yeah. So this ability is Kroom, right? Kroom anesthesia. And Law pretty much looks like he stabbed. He creates this bubble, right? He creates a little bubble. He puts it on the sword, and then he stabs right before Big Mom could like finish off Kid. He stabs through Big Mom because you see the sword coming through her neck. So you know, and he said, and Law says the penetration does nothing on its own. Instead, Kroom creates shockwaves from within. So I'm kind of thinking, like, is Law literally like stabbing through Big Mom, or is he kind of using his ability to just get his sword through Big Mom and then activate this ability that I guess creates these shockwaves? And so yeah, so we pretty much see we see. Well, you know, I think the ability after he does Kroom is like Shock Willie. I think the ability is Shock Willie, like the attack is Shock Willie, and you know, Kroom. I don't is the attack move called Kroom, or I don't know. I'm kind of confused on that. Maybe because seeing how Law's ability work, you know, he usually activate his powers when he say like room, right? He usually say like room, and then we get this big old sphere that spreads upon, like spreads the air that covers an area, right? And that's kind of like the the it's almost like the activation of the ability. So I'm assuming Kroom is like the activation of the attack, right? And Willie Shock or Shock Willie might be the actual attack. And you know, we see Big Mom coughing up smoke, and you know she's bleeding. Somebody mentions that she's bleeding, but she just like in Big Mom fashion, she gets back up. You know, and but you see, but what Law does right is I think the shock part of it, the electric, you know, because you know the electric part of it helps with Kid's magnetism. So it's kind of like a combination move. It's like Law doing this attack, right? And the attack makes Big Mom more susceptible to magnetism. You know, because after that, you see Big Mom looking like she's about to attack Law, and then Kid says a sign. So I guess he kind of assigns Big Mom to be like a magnet. I'm guessing Kid, with the help of Law, turns Big Mom into a magnet, and we see Napoleon get stuck to her, and then all the metal around Onigashima basically collapse into Big Mom, and then we see we see Kid basically use a punk clash. You know, and then we see all like the metal beams just crashing into Big Mom. And that's pretty much the chapter. That's pretty much the chapter, you know. And we don't have a break next week, which is good. Before I get into my key takeaways from this chapter, I won't be doing a stream next Sunday. I won't be here, you know. I'm gonna be out of state at that time for work. So I'll probably you probably you won't get a stream next Sunday, but you will get a stream next week, most likely. Like maybe late next week. You probably get a chapter discussion for late next week. So still expect a discussion next week, but it just won't be on Sunday. It probably will be later that week. And so yeah. But yeah, anyway, let me look at the chat. Shane Burns says, I don't remember where I left off. You said I'm putting this chapter on my other phone to follow this. How do you think the armory scene will? Yeah, I read that one. I think it's more of the next step that Law has made it to. Kroom is dope. Law has always been smart. I fully don't understand Kid's power on Big Mom. Okay, so I think I kind of understand what might have gone, but speaking of Law's ability, it could be an awakening. It's weird though, cause like Law's ability is so hex. Like can it really be awakened? Like I think it's so versatile, so it's kind of hard to tell if it's an awakening. You know what I'm saying? Like it could do so much that it's hard to tell if it's an awakening or if it's just a standard ability. So that's that, to me that's just kind of hard to really tell. But as far as Law's power on Big Mom, what I think happened is when Law did his ability, because it was kind of like a shock. It was like an electric shock, right? I think that facilitated Kid being able to magnetize Big Mom. You know what I'm saying? Because electricity and magnetism kind of work hand in hand to a degree. That's why you got the electromagnetic scale. So electricity works kind of similar, not similar to magnetism, but it kind of works hand in hand with it. Like I think you could take a piece of metal and you could use electricity to turn it into a magnet. You know what I'm saying? Correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody who's a lot smarter than me with science and things like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they kind of work together. So Law doing that, I think facilitated Kid being able to magnetize Big Mom. Therefore, he was able to do what he did and bury Big Mom in a pile of steel beams and other metals. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let me give my takeaways on this chapter. We moving into the takeaway portion. Apu's ascension. Apu was kind of a character that I've been kind of liking, like especially since, like I've always been kind of a proponent in Apu deserving a little more respect. Shay said exactly. Is it an awakening or just part of it? I believe he figured it out or figured it a different way to use it, and he was able to allow Kid to use his ability through the opening that Law created. I'm with you. Yeah. It could be an awakening though. I just don't know. I don't know. I mean, he did, like, Kid did say have your powers awakened or something. So it could mean like literally have they awakened. So yeah. So Apu's ascension, like for right now, Apu is giving me real Blackbeard vibes. And before people get all, oh, Apu's no Blackbeard or Blackbeard, blah blah. I'm not saying he is Blackbeard. I'm not saying he's on par with Blackbeard. I'm not saying he's gonna accomplish as much as that Blackbeard. No. I'm just saying he's giving me those vibes that like he has something sinister going with Apu where he's gonna really kind of do something. Like I think Apu by the end of this arc, I don't know how, he's going to make some type of a mark where it's going to be like people are going to have to, like, I don't know, people going to have to get respect with Apu, because I've been constantly saying Apu deserves more respect, because I'm not saying I'm not saying he's like stronger than Luffy, Kid, or Law, but I think he's stronger than some of the other supernova. You know what I'm saying? I think he can, his ability. It's like if you're not prepared for it, you can't. He could beat you. He could beat you if you're not, like, if you don't know what his ability does. He could beat you. But I think even if you do know what his ability is, it still will hinder you in battle, because unless you taking earplugs to battle with you, like, unless beforehand you're going to fight Apu and you're taking earplugs with you, what does that mean? Like, you might know that Apu is you need to cover your ears, but it's like, if you didn't know you was fighting Apu before you ran into him, you ain't gonna have earplugs with you. So you gonna have to cover your ears, and if you gotta cover your ears, that means you're using your hands to cover your ears and not throw punches. You know what I'm saying? So, that's kind of my thing. Like, I'm just curious where Apu is going from here. Because like I said, he's giving me Blackbeard vibes. Like, he's really in some, like, he's playing in something. Like he's coming up with some type of plan, and I just don't know what it is. It's clear that he's looking to betray Kaido. He's looking to take out whoever's left standing. But it's just like, is that pretty much the depth of his plan? Just finish off whoever is standing, But I'm just curious. I'm curious about Apu. Apu has always been a interesting character, since his introduction. I think he's a lot stronger than people give him credit for. He's one of the only supernova he was the only supernova who was actually able to launch a successful attack on Kizaru. Yeah, it didn't hurt Kizaru, but he connected. None of the other supernova landed any attack on Kizaru. Not even the Straw Hats. I mean, Usopp, because he was throwing his little, when Kizaru was about to curb stomp Zoro. I want to say Usopp was throwing shit, but it didn't do nothing. It was just going through Kizaru. But Apu, on the other hand, he actually managed to cut Kizaru's body in half in his hand. But that didn't mean anything. But it was more than anybody else did, is all I'm saying. And then we see his encounter with Luffy and Zoro, and then you could add Law into that, and then the fact Law attacked him and he still got up, like he was still conscious, and then he kind of flipped the script on Law and had Law running. Bro, give Apu his respect. Come on. Y'all gonna have to do it. Y'all gonna have to do it. Y'all gonna have to do it. It's gonna happen by the end of this arc, whatever he got playing. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just playing about that. But still. And then I wanna talk about the numbers. Their loyalty. Who are they really loyal to? Cause at first I thought they were loyal to Kaido. I thought they were Kaido subordinates, And to a degree they are. But right now they seem more loyal to Apu than Kaido. So is it like, were they always loyal? Were they always more loyal to Apu? Were they always loyal to Apu? Did Apu recruit them into Kaido's army? That's what I'm curious. Like, cause when we first see the numbers, they was with Apu. Like Apu brought them. But maybe it's not all the numbers that are like this. Maybe the numbers were all originally loyal to Kaido, but these specific 3 numbers, I want to see what their names were. It was like Anbi, NB, Fuga, and Zanki. Maybe it's these three numbers, right? Maybe they're the ones that are. Maybe they're the traitors of all the numbers. Maybe it's just them three that are loyal to Apu and not Kaido, and all the other numbers are loyal to Kaido, or is it all the numbers? Or were they already loyal to Apu before they even joined Kaido? Like I'm curious. I want to know like why the number, because I was always of the thought that they were loyal to Kaido, like they were Kaido's guys, and Apu was just bringing them to Wano. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of supervising, but now it's looking like it could be more to that relationship between the numbers and Apu than we may have originally thought. And now let me read the comments. We says, I don't know, Apu is hard to deal with. Yeah, he is, man. He is. Like you have to be prepared in order to fight Apu. Just knowing how to avoid his ability isn't enough. You have to be prepared, because after they learned about Apu's ability, they still was vulnerable to it. They still was running away. They just had their hands in the air, so he couldn't just do what he wanted. But yeah, you have to be prepared for him. You have to carry some earplugs or something to stop your hearing. And then even then, like, okay, you stop your hearing, then you can't hear nothing. So if you lose sight of him, you can't hear where he's coming from because you got your ears covered. So a lot of people, and that's kind of what I try to say when people say, oh well, if you know how to fight against Apu's ability, then you can easily beat him. That's not necessarily the case. You just because you know how to counter it, don't mean you can easily beat him. You literally have to basically cut off one of your senses, which is important in the fight, especially hearing. I would say out of all your senses, when it comes to fighting, your vision and your hearing are the two most important. They're the two most important, because taste don't matter. Smell is not really gonna matter either. But it's your hearing and your vision. Because when you can't see, you gotta rely on your hearing. Where the enemy is at. So you're basically cutting off one of your most important senses just to not be vulnerable to his ability. And it's not like Apu can't fight. It's not like he can't fight. He was fighting toe to toe with both Zoro and Drake at one point. He was kind of he was able to hold him off to a degree. So and he's not even a swordsman or anything. So yeah, that's kind of my thing with Apu. But moving on. I kind of want to talk about the after effects of Law's ability, because we see Kinemon, right? We see Kinemon, and we seen his lower half is separated from his upper half, and Kinemon says, Law never fully attached my body right. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I guess at first I thought, like if you reattach him, eventually maybe Law's ability will wear off and, the body will connect again. So, but I'm assuming Law literally has to put I guess, fully reattach it with his ability if it's going to fully reattach, because we've all these arcs and it never became a problem, all these arcs, and it's just now, and it's like, okay, his body done detached again, right? So my thing is, like why didn't Ken's body, like Kinemon's body, fall apart much earlier? Like in the mid. I mean, I guess you could probably say that he didn't have many intense fights up to this point for it to have to find a reason. But I would think that maybe it would have came up at one point. You know what I'm saying? He would have tripped, fell, top half came off. I don't know. I'm just kind of curious of why it never, if it wasn't put on, if it wasn't attached properly, why didn't it never like detach before? And I guess and it makes sense for Oda to use his callback, in the way he did, and like he used Kinemon's lower half to go find help, but it makes sense because it was already established that Kinemon was already detached from his body before, and now the explanation is basically Law didn't reattach it. Fine, and it makes sense, but at the same time, it's like it makes sense, but it don't, because like, okay, if it wasn't really attached properly, why didn't it detach before? That's kind of the only issue that I'm kind of seeing with this whole situation. Other than that, I ain't gonna question it too much. It's one of those. It's one of those like plot. It's one of those convenient plot devices. But stories have those. A lot of people talk bad about them, but it is a plot device though, because I feel as though it should have happened before. If it was really not attached properly, it should have happened before. And then we have Kondro and Orochi's final stand. Which Shane says, have you seen that they share a resemblance to the samurai that Yamato was with? Who are you talking about? Like, shares that resemblance? Like, are you talking about the numbers? Huh. Do you remember what chapter? Do you remember what chapter those numbers were, or the other guys were in? The samurai that we seen. Do you remember that chapter? I kind of want to look, because now. Kind of want to look, because now I'm like curious, because you said they share a resemblance, but I don't know. I had to see what they look like again. Let's go 1026. Because I don't remember the exact chapter that was. My bad, Joe. I'm trying to find that chapter. Alright, I think it was 1025. Or maybe. Hold on. 1025. It wasn't 1025. Dang, man, you got me looking at these chapters. Alright, so I think it is 1025. I mean, I could kind of see what you talk about. Maybe a bit. I will say the one on the left, right? The one on the left does remind me. I will say maybe the two, not the main samurai who was like part of the Shimosuke clan, but I will say the other two remind me of the two numbers that was on the outside, not the middle samurai, but maybe the two on the outside, the one that's to the left and to the right, the numbers that are to the left and to the right. I think they look a lot like the two samurai who was with the Shimosuke samurai. I think they do bear, especially the one on the left, the number that was on the left, he kind of remind me of the chubby the chubby samurai who was out of the three samurai. So yeah. Yeah, I mean I could see somewhat of a resemblance though. Alright, so Kondro and Orochi's final stand, right? So you know, we see Orochi kind of manipulating Kondro into basically sacrificing himself to finish the job, to not only finish the job with the Akazawa samurai, but also with his feud with Kaido now, his new beef with Kaido. So he manipulates Kondro, and then he calls Fukurokoju to basically escape. So my thing is this pretty much Orochi's? Is this like the last resort for Orochi? Because what happens if he escapes and Kondro fails? Because I don't think Kondro, we know Kondro's not going to succeed at killing off Kaido and everybody else. So like Luffy and everybody, but Orochi is still going to be out and about, and he still needs to be put down. So, if is he going to see Kondro fail and try to basically finish it himself? I'm kind of thinking. I don't think Orochi's going to escape. I don't think he's going to escape and get out of this, get out of his eventual punishment. Or not punishment, but his eventual, when he gets basically beaten. I don't think he's going to escape getting beaten. But Kondro, I think this is pretty much Kondro's. Like, this is Kondro's last stand. I could see him dying after this. I think whatever this attack is, it might end up like fading out because he might die before he could really finish his job, or get defeated if he doesn't just slowly fade out. But I wanted to talk about Kazembo, because he kind of intrigued me. I did a little research. On Kazembo, or the name off, because I figured Kazembo. I'm like, that might be actual something. There might be something to this, because Oda draws from real world things, like real world history and mythology. So here's what I found, and I'm gonna read it, because I only put a portion of the what we got here. So Kazembo, literally a bronze in front of the fire. Seeing how he's creating fire, and Kazembo literally bronze. I guess that's what it means, a bronze in front of the fire. And then it said Kazembo is a type of Japanese yokai. So he's basically a ghost, spirit, and monster. And seeing how, I've stated before that, we got the Fire Fest, right? That's honoring the dead, right? I guess helping them pass on, or just, honoring them. And I've talked about before about spirits being shown in Wano, and now we see Kazembo, who's kind of like a spirit, he's kind of like a yokai. He's like the spirit of Kondro, and it says he's a yokai, ghost, spirit, monsters, described in Kanjaku. It's like my nose is stuffy. It's hard to talk. And it says, describe Kanjaku Yaki. I'm not good with like pronouncing Japanese words. Literally supplement to the 100 demons from the present and the past. A yokai art collection book or supernatural bestiary by Saikon Toriyama. And I also have a summary where you guys can't see on the screen, but it says Summary: the Kazebo was believed to appear in Mount Toribo, alternatively called Taribino, in Kyoto Prefecture, which was known as an old burial place in the Heian period. In the Kanjaku Hayaki Shui, it is portrayed as a bigger bronze who is engulfed by flames and smoke. It is said that powerful members of the imperial family and the nobility were buried in the Mount Toribi Yama. And in the end of the 10th century, venerable monks reportedly burned themselves to death, hoping to attain Funchi Ojo. According to the Buddhist beliefs, it was a way to become a Buddha after death. So many lay people wanted to see this religious ritual of self-cremation, and it was assumed that despite the ritual, some monks will not die a peaceful death because they were attached to the life on the earth. The souls of those failed Buddhas supposedly appeared in Mount Toribe in the form of the mysterious fiery apparition, which was therefore called Kazimbo. And I might have to put that in the link to that, which is interesting because you see you read that and it's like it says the souls who fell the souls of those failed Buddhas supposedly. So basically it was like these monks would burn themselves, and some of them didn't die peacefully, because they were attached to the life on the earth, right? And that's kind of, you look at Kondro, right? Kondro is attached to living because he wants to finish the job. He's on death's door, but he's still attached to living. So it kind of seems like he might have died summoning Kanzabo. He was still attached to living, and then he died, and this will to live turned him into Kazimbo, who is basically a yokai or a ghost or a spirit. So I'm kind of thinking that this could be like a because when you look at let me get rid of that. When you look at hockey, right? It's about your will, your soul, your will pretty much. And I think I'm kind of thinking, like, especially watching a lot of my boy Elids. Go check Elids out. He got great theories, especially about hockey and stuff. And he talks about hockey, being the spiritual thing and everything, and which I kind of want to get. I want to get his opinion on this, on Kazimbo. So, he talks about that being like hockey, being able to manifest things. You see how we see Zoro, he could manifest like Ashura, the spirit of Ashura, or the demon Ashura or whatever, and become like, have multiple heads and multiple arms and swords. So I'm thinking, those could be instances of hockey, and possibly this might be an instance of hockey. Like if you go watch Elid's theories, go check out Elid's ELIDZ. Search that on YouTube. He has a bunch of videos talking about hockey and going real deep into them. And if you go read his stuff, what I'm saying might make a little more sense. I can't explain it as good as him, but it might make a little more sense that, you might look at this and be like, oh, I can see that possibly being like a instance of like of hockey, you know what I mean? But yeah, so that's pretty much Kazimbo. And Shane says, appreciate you looking into the comments. Come a little late, sorry. Yeah, I know it takes a while. It's fine. But yeah, so so I'm kind of thinking like, cause at first my thoughts was like, how Oda usually always make like a time constraint thing in all the arcs. You know, first we get like Alabasta. We got Alabasta when they was going through their war, and it was like at a certain time this big cannon was going to fire and kill like all the citizens or whatever, or killed like at least everybody that was in that square, and it was pretty destructive, like from what I remember, like, and it was like we have to win before they set the cannon off. Or Dressrosa, where you got the bird cage, we have to win before the bird cage enclosed. Punk Hazard, you had Smiley, you know, we had to escape before the all that smoke comes in, and it's so. I was thinking that or Onigashima reaching the flower capital was kind of that time constraint, but I'm thinking Kazembo could be that, you know, or just the combination of Onigashima reaching flower capital, the explosives, and Kazembo. So we got 3 factors that are equal in this time constraint, pretty much. And yeah, so, and the last thing that stuck out to me was Big Mom's fate, right? Big Mom's fate. What's going to happen to Big Mom? Now, I don't think she's dead. I don't think nobody believes she's dead from that. I don't think she's down for the count. Or is she? Is she down for the count? Did Law and Kid successfully neutralize Big Mom? I'm kind of thinking an other alternative. Other alternative. In this alternative, I don't think people will like this alternative. You know, I don't know if I even like this alternative, but I feel as though with this alternative, it can make some of my other maybe theories come true. And it makes sense because it was set up before. And that alternative is a possible amnesia episode with Big Mom. Now, I know a lot of people are going to hate me. They're like, what? Blah, blah, blah. Look, I don't write the story. I'm just giving my thoughts on what I think might be what might be in store for us. And why? Why another episode of amnesia? Why? Well, why I say that? Because when Kid in Law, like that attack, when all those metal beams came for Big Mom's, and you gotta think like her head might have been magnetized, because when we seen Napoleon, he stuck to her head, you know, like her head was magnetic. Let me make sure. Yeah, like Napoleon stuck to her head, right? And then you get all these metal beams in the castle, just basically all closing in Big Mom's head, right? She already had amnesia, so she's susceptible to it. At least she's susceptible to it. And if I think all these metal beams, they might rock her enough to where she could potentially have amnesia. Now, again, I don't think Big Mom's gonna be defeated by Law and Kid, but I think she might be down for the count enough to where Law and Kid could rejoin Luffy. They could rejoin Luffy to take on Kaido. Because again, I don't know. I still don't believe that Luffy is going to beat Kaido by himself. I know he's kind of looking good against Kaido right now, but I don't think he's going. I think it's going to be other factors that's going to help to the defeat of Kaido, and at the end. And I think Law, Kid, they might go back up to fight Kaido, and then Big Mom, when she gets up, or if she comes to, because she could be knocked out, even just for a little bit, she could be knocked out, and when she gets up, she might be like, "Hey, what's going on?" Right? Like, I don't know, like what's up? Like, who am I? Hey, my name is Olin. And it could be a case of Kaido potentially pissing Big Mom off, and Big Mom attacking Kaido, but she's still Olin, right? So she's not in a state where she's going to be fully utilizing her Big Mom abilities and her Big Mom battle knowledge. So she probably wouldn't be that much of a. I ain't gonna say she won't be a factor to Kaido, but she's not gonna be like, like Kaido might just kind of like hit her, like she's not going to be her best self against Kaido. And Kaido might hit her. She might come to and get pissed off that Kaido hit her. And then, that might be the catalyst of the defeat of Kaido. Big Mom betraying Kaido. I've already said that before. That Big Mom could potentially betray Kaido. And then if I think she has amnesia, I think that's probably going to be the final catalyst to make Big Mom betray Kaido. You know what I'm saying? So that's to me, that would be like the one good thing that comes from the whole amnesia angle is Big Mom betraying Kaido. But yeah, so y'all let me know what y'all think of the chapter. I've been going over an hour. Time went by quick. I didn't even realize it was. I've been streaming for that long. Damn. I'm blaming you, Shane. No, I'm not mad. I'm not blaming you. I'm glad you engaged. So I don't mind being streaming this long, especially with the chat. Going back and forth with the chat, and I appreciate that. But anyway, what are your guys' thoughts on this chapter? You know what I'm saying? Was I way off base in some of my key points that I thought? What do you think is gonna? Man, I can't talk. What do you think? What's your predictions for the next chapter? What's your predictions for the rest of this arc? Anyway, that's pretty much it for me. It was a decent chapter. I like, as comparing it to the other chapters. Comparing it to like the previous chapters, I don't think it was as good. I don't think it had as much stuff to talk about. But I do like the whole Kazumbo thing, like coming out of. I like that, especially the mythology of Kazumbo and how it kind of fits what Kondro is going through. And yeah, so you guys let me know what you guys thought about the chapter. Your thoughts, your theories, your predictions, whatever. Put those in the comments. Anyway, I'm out. It's your boy Sean P. the Blunt God. Hey. And I'm out of here. Hey, and appreciate everybody who liked the stream, everybody who watched. If you watching, I appreciate you. Really appreciate you. Thank you, Shane, for the back and forth. I really appreciate that. And everybody, if you watch this, look out for Shane Burns. He is going to be I'm hoping he's going to be a fellow YouTuber that we can collaborate with, so look out for those. You might see some collaboration discussions with me and Shane. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, anyway, y'all be easy. Y'all have a good Sunday. I'm out of here.